All right, guys, I've just wrapped up my training session. You're gonna get a little bit more of a glimpse into what me training actually looks like in the off season. We're in Charleston, West Virginia, and I just gotta get a quick workout in. Gonna be lower half. You're gonna get some insights, some raw hard work. Thank you very much for watching. Lift heavy, be kind. Links to merch in the bio, links to programs in the bio. Otherwise, really no warm-up's gonna go on. We're just gonna get a bar going on the rack and start squatting. We've got a 4x10 squats we're gonna start with. Then we're gonna do, 3x10 squats. Then we're gonna go to belt squats, some calf raises, leg extensions, and we'll get out of here. I feel like building into squats is as much about getting the shoulders going as it is getting the legs going.
I noticed that you grabbed the buffalo bar.
It was just the first appropriate bar that I saw. I would have used this, I would have used a barbell, I'd use a power bar, anything but a deadlift bar. I noticed that my legs weren't looking right in the mirror when I was doing something at the clinic. And my left shin is 1.5 inches longer than my right shin. And that's why I've been having issues with leg press and squats and falling down the middle. But important that these aren't really clinical diagnosis. This is just a thing that has been always fine. And now I just know about it. I might get an orthotic put in the right, even things out a bit, but yeah, for the most part. If you've got a leg length difference, don't worry about it so much. It happens. Now, shoulders for squats, for me, it's getting lats a little bit mobile, getting pecs a little bit mobile, just enough to be comfortable on the back. You don't want any sort of restriction going on at the shoulder to stop you from squatting well. Oh. Yes, I was helping out at the event, and I probably did 100 rounds of sandbag picks. So my back is a little angry as well. Look at this Alison setup. That's great. On the racks. Unreal. That's a great way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah, sandbags and stones. That's great. That's better. Takes a little while for things to feel right sometimes. Sometimes a plate and 2 plates kind of feel crappy. It's a personal rule of mine that you can't put clips on the bar until I can't put clips on the bar. So over 4 plates. I took that rule to the extreme when I started over in Australia. There's a video of me with 7 plates walking out, and the classic, like, all fall off, all crash down the other side. So We dropped it to 4. The sandbags yesterday definitely took a toll. Like I don't want to let my torso tip over at all.
How are your forearms?
They're here.
Those are working man's forearms right there.
It's good because I'm so white collar. I need something to cover it up a bit. Whew. Just uncomfortable. Set one, they're my best set of 10 ever. So that would be 230 kilos. My best set of 10 ever, 270. We did that last week. But you gotta know when you're gonna win and when you're not gonna win. And today, fast moving, lots of reps, plenty to do after. You're gonna be happy that that might be enough for today. So 2 more sets of that weight, then we're on to belt squats. Is that your breakfast?
Yeah. I got some barbecue chips and a beef stick.
Breakfast. Barbecue chips.
Yep. Yeah, I picked up around for Jake and Frankie when they get here.
Monster. A ghost. Another ghost. And a meat stick. Fucking breakfast. Breakfast of champions. Holy shit. Wow. Is that a normal breakfast for you?
Nah, I just walked over to the gas station and I'm like, that looks good.
You got what you could get. Uncle Ray's.
Want a handful? Welcome to them.
Maybe after. There you go, mate. I don't want to steal all your nutrition. Squats done. If you do squats well, you should feel it right here and right here. If you're big quads or back, discomfort after, you probably got something a little bit inefficient going on. When you're asleep, the theory about how you get taller is that you go horizontal, you then have fluid build up in between your vertebrae. Inherently that makes you a bit taller in the morning. I'm not sure it actually makes you much taller, but it certainly adds a little bit of intervertebral pressure. And so everything is just a little bit stiffer, a little bit more sore than you're used to. So yeah, not a huge fan, but you know, when I've competed, I feel like you get up early enough, you get your warm up in, you're excited enough. Competition, it never bothers me. I'm not somebody who thinks train at the same time as the competition. Jet lag's never bothered me. Time of day's never bothered me. But during training, especially when it's sort of like just getting it in while you can be a bit more of a punish for sure. We got a road trip back to Canada tomorrow, 9 hours in the car. There's something so nice about having super sore legs, just feeling that bit of pain while you're sitting there relaxing. It's like you've earned your relaxing drive. Okay. This is probably the most underrated movement in any gym. If you've got a belt squat, you're doing really well. Particularly one that drops straight down. It feels great.
There's something about training in a gym like this that you just feel like you're getting in the work.
Yeah, it's good. This is quite similar to the first gym that I ever trained at, my high school gym, where I sort of fell in love with weightlifting. Way more equipped than that. Similar to that, it's also similar to where I started strongman in Australia. Exception being, it was like 2 floors, not 1. But in terms of the vibe, very, very similar. This is where I'm like comfortable getting my work in. Even the gym that I'm at now, it's great, but it's quite nice. And there's a whole variety of people and goals in there, and I think it's good because it doesn't push me over the top. There's some like middle-aged people training there, some bodybuilders, and you don't want to go like full strongman mode, which is probably good. But this is really, really comfortable. All these gyms just sort of feel like home right away. It's like when you visit a town that's the exact same population density as your hometown. And you're like, the roads are the same size, the stores are sort of the similar size, just weird things, like parking lots are the same size. It's the same thing in a gym, where like the barbells are all sort of located the same. The equipment's all looking the same, and we were saying, if you take a short glance at everything in here, you go like, okay, like pretty tough gym. But you look at each individual piece of equipment, you're like, there is proper money spent in this gym to make it perfect. And yeah, I mean, everything, I've been here for all of 20 minutes, but everything seems great quality. And yeah, sometimes you gotta, if you walk into a gym you're not 100% comfortable in, just take a second look and go, you know what? This gym is actually like really, really well equipped, really high quality stuff. So there you go. The biggest advantage about squatting is that the number one thing that'll burn you out is axially loaded movements. When you have load going down through your spine, down through your shoulders, it's hard to get a good leg workout in without doing that. But this is perfect. When you do your belt squats, it's all hanging off your hips. No extra stress in the back. Because even leg press can put a pretty decent load on your back, depending on how deep you're going. So, yeah, feels good. So I went pretty standard stance on squats. Like I said, hamstring and adductor heavy, squats in general. So I'm exaggerating toes pointed forward to get a little bit more load on the quads here. I was getting down to the bench, getting down to my seat. 3 down, 1 to go. Part of the difficulty with assessing depth is that as your quads get bigger and bigger, it looks worse and worse. So like, if your femur is parallel, if you've got very small legs, it's gonna look parallel. If you've got Ray Williams sized legs, it's gonna look like high because your quad is so built up. But for us, it's an accessory for the most part, and when it's not, it's a squat to the ends hitting off of blocks. So I don't really think all that much about squat depth, because in the end, we're best if we improve our power generation in the first half of the squat. So really, if you're going past the first half, you're doing pretty damn well. You're definitely passing where you're gonna need to be for leg drive for a deadlift. So it's a powerlifting thing. It's not a strongman thing. It's general preparedness. And when it comes to general preparedness, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. You probably could go really deep, a little bit lighter and get the same benefit. You probably could go a little shallower, a little heavier and get the same benefit. So it's really all just playing with it. But I mean, I do want to be able to squat to an acceptable depth for strongman squats, but that's really the extent of it. This is guaranteed older than me, this thing. Oh. Calves are a very fatigue resistant muscle. They're designed to help you walk and run all day. So to train them, you got to sort of meet them halfway in the middle. And you can't do really heavy calf training if you're looking to get any sort of response. So we're going to go much higher volume when we're training calves. In my program, I got 3 sets of standing, 4 sets of seated. We're just going to knock out 4 sets of seated, 7 sets of seated. And we're going to do 7 by 15, take really short rest periods, and go from there. A fatigue resistant muscle is inherently less powerful in any sense, in fast speed, slow speed, anything. And calves fall in that territory. They're interesting though, because they do help with triple extension and carrying that power through. So it's not like their power is super low, but it's certainly not as powerful as say your quads, your glutes. So they're gonna burn up really fast. Once they do, you let them chill out for 20 seconds and you're back to being totally fine. And unless you haven't trained calves in a long time, it's pretty rare that you rock up with DOMs at all because of their fatigue resistant nature. All right, 7 by 15. I'll only rest how I need to. Now, when you're seated, you work more on the soleus, which is the lower half of the calf. It's the part responsible for things like postural control. So, in application to strength training and powerlifting strongman, it's going to help you with your ability to stay stable when you're, say, getting ready for a squat, or your leg draw off the ground when you're deadlifting. The top part, your gastrocs, they're more useful when we go into standing and triple extension and whatnot. So I actually don't know off the top of my head, but my inclination would be that soleus is more slow twitch, fatigue resistant. Gastrocs would be slightly more fast twitch and more powerful. But I think they would be fairly similar. I'll have to do some homework. Two down, 5 to go. Now we got these, we got leg extensions, and we're out of here. I think one of the things that people should realize when you're away or when training situations aren't ideal, i.e. I've done a bunch of work with loading equipment and whatnot in the past couple of days, nutrition has actually been quite good. A little bit run down, a lot of travel. You will retain so much muscle and strength if you just do a little bit of something. So today, it's well in excess of what I need just to maintain, because I always want to move forward. But if I came in and did 5 sets of 10 at 315, 140 kilos, I would retain strength much, much, much better than if I didn't do anything at all. So sometimes it's just about getting in the bare minimum. You can retain strength for couple of weeks without doing any sort of heavy training. A lot of people do that tapering into competitions, so long as you keep some regular stimulus for the body going. Then our muscles are the only cells in our body with more than one nucleus, so they can communicate messages much faster to mitochondria to perform the functions of the cell. And when we build those nuclei, we don't lose them very easily. And so that's where muscle memory comes into play. Someone who's been really strong before can get really strong again. Someone like Thor, the reason he's going to progress so quickly is because he's got to that stage before, and he'll have that muscle memory. So your apprehension around going away and not training perfectly, the worst thing you could do is have an all or nothing approach. Three down, 20-second rest. Or it catches up to you. I don't find anything today from a strength perspective, it's not hard. Just like tiring. That's the interesting thing I find about bodybuilding training, that psychologically you can push yourself much, much further. Where in strength training, powerlifting, strongman, you can convince yourself maybe a little bit further, but it's pretty rare you turn into a mom lifting a car off her kids. So, 4 down, 3 down. Five down, 2 down. Okay, 10 seconds. Oh, one more. 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. Oh. Oh. Just here's fine. Just have it your way. Thanks, man. I don't know what's on the program. Let's do 5 by 20. Oh, my shins get so sore from any sort of leg extension. I need such a fat pad to caress my soft shins.
Those deadlift worn shins.
Yeah, they're nice and supple. Lesson to everyone watching. You don't need perfect equipment. You don't need perfect plates. Sometimes you just need to get it done. The number one thing that will give you progress is just getting in and working hard. Everything else comes after that. And everything else is it's interesting to talk about, but everything else comes after that. Oh, 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 3 down. Oh. Oh.
It's funny, your reactions to bodybuilding are like so much more intense to like watching you strength train. Like lifting something heavy, you're kind of just always like meh. But like
Yeah.
every time that you're like bodybuilding, you're just like
Because it's
in such pain.
It's so painful. Come on, baby. Oh, okay. That's my workout. Off-season bodybuilding legs. Getting it done on the road. As per usual, lift heavy, be kind. Appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next time.